So you've been confused about what credit score is your accurate credit score, and you keep seeing different scores everywhere you go. I'm going to show you what's going on and how to get past that problem in just a second. Hey everyone, if you've been trying to work on your credit and you have barely been seeing any results, you need to go ahead and take a look at the workshop that I just opened up that is currently free so that you can learn where you went wrong while you were trying to work on your credit. During that lesson, you'll learn the 4 don'ts when it comes to working on your credit, the mistakes people make when writing dispute letters, why you shouldn't only dispute with the credit bureaus, and also the accounts that people waste time disputing. Not to mention, you'll get to see real results from a customer who used my methods and they were able to get their credit straightened out and bought a brand new home within 7 months. So go ahead and sign up for that training today. The link is going to be down in the bio. And while you're trying to work on your credit, you have to see all 3 of your credit reports and scores. And My Score IQ, a company that I use for myself and for all of my customers, has a $1 7-day trial so you can see your credit reports and scores so you can know where you stand, because you can't work on your credit without knowing what's going on all 3 reports. So please check out My Score IQ. The link to them is going to be down in the description as well. What's up everybody, this is Will Frazier, your credit expert, bringing you the credit tips you need to get your credit back on track, because what goes down must come up. And if you don't want your credit score to go down to a 300 right now, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll get notified of every video I drop just like this. So today we're going to talk about the confusion with the different credit scores that are out there. More than likely you've went to Credit Karma, you've seen one score, you went to a lender, they told you had a different score, you went to go try to get a car. You saw several different scores that were out there for you and you don't know which one is the right one. The major difference that you're not aware of is the fact that there are FICO scores and Vantage scores. You see, FICO is a company that created credit scores a long time ago. They basically created an algorithm to calculate the information in the credit bureau systems on your accounts and calculate a score which would tell a lender if you are likely to pay them back or not, or more specifically, if you're likely to go 90 days late within the next 2 years. And that was created for the lenders to use. It wasn't necessarily created for the consumer or the person, which is why we have little knowledge on why there are so many different scores out there to this day. But basically it was designed for that purpose. Now sometime later on down the line, the credit bureaus wanted to be able to make money off of credit scores themselves, and of course not to have to pay FICO for their score all the time as well. So they created their own algorithm to calculate the information that they withheld, and they sell those credit scores in the form of credit monitoring companies that are out there and other different ways that they use to monetize those credit scores. Now Vantage Score calculates your score differently than FICO because they have proprietary information that is included, of course, in their algorithm. So they have to create their own algorithm and way of calculating the score. That's why you usually see a big difference if you go from Credit Karma to a lender, because Credit Karma uses a Vantage score and your lender is using a FICO score. Now, if you're wondering how big the difference can be, I've seen the difference be anywhere between 20 points or a few points to 120 points. It can be that much of a difference, with the Vantage score being higher usually, which is why on Credit Karma you may think you have a 700, then you go to the auto dealership and you see you have like a 6 something. Now the other part that's going to play a role as far as you seeing different scores all the time is going to be the fact that there are different versions of FICO. So even if you're not looking at a Vantage score, which is usually what you'll see if you pull it yourself without applying for something, when you go and see a FICO score at a lender, usually the lender may not know what version it is, and you may not know to look to see what version it is or to ask them what version it is, but there are different versions of FICO out there. In regards to the versions, it's similar to the way Windows comes out with a new version every few years where they change things and make updates to kind of make things better based on current consumer needs and things like that. So every few years FICO releases a new version which changes things based on the way that people are spending and using credit in the current time. Now because of that, there's a FICO Classic, a FICO version 4, a FICO version 8 and 9 more recently, and a FICO version X I believe too. All of these different versions might be used at different lenders. So if you go to one lender using FICO 4 and another using FICO 8 for whatever it is that you're applying for, then you're going to see different scores because they calculate your score differently and you wouldn't know what's going on. Now this is completely separate from the difference that you may see because you're looking at one credit bureau versus another, because the two credit bureaus may have different information as far as accounts housed within their system, so you're getting a different score because they don't have the same number of accounts, or they don't have the same accounts on each bureau. That's something totally different. And if I haven't confused you or frustrated you enough yet, there's also the fact that within each different version of FICO, there are industry specific or product specific credit scores. There are credit scores specifically for if you're getting a car, specifically if you're getting a credit card, when you're getting a mortgage, they use a specific score. And also car insurance industry, they have specific credit scores that they use to determine how much money they're going to charge you for your insurance premium. Now, all that being said, every different place you go to may have a different version of FICO, and then depending on what you apply for, you're going to have a different score as well. That just makes things really confusing, I know, but that is how the system is set up. And there is no regulation as far as every new version of FICO that comes out, all lenders must go to it. A lender can choose to use whichever version they want to use. So because of all these reasons, that is why you would see different credit scores depending on where you look and depending on what you're applying for, and it can get real confusing. But it's like that because the credit industry was originally set up to benefit the lenders and help them out, and it was only more so recently said that they had to provide us with free credit scores and information about our credit reports so that we can learn about it, because they were just forced to, but we were not their original customer. And again, if you got value from this video, make sure you like the video and share it with somebody else that may need to know this information, because I'm sure you know somebody else that's out there confused about their credit score. And if you have heard anything different, or if you've experienced the same thing in regards to trying to figure out what's going on with your credit score, please make sure you leave a comment down below just explaining what happened. And just so you know, the only place that you can look at to see an accurate credit score is the place where you're actually going to apply for credit. Anything other than that, you should not just rely on as your accurate score, and only because your credit score only counts at the place where you're applying, because that's where you're actually gonna get what you're gonna get, and whatever score they pull is your accurate score at that time. Now, it does still pay to have credit monitoring, where you get to see a FICO score so you can have a more accurate idea of where you are before you go in a lender, but just know it's still gonna have maybe a slight difference, but it's better for you to look at a FICO score than at a Vantage score that you would get from Credit Karma. Anyway, I'm glad you guys stuck around to the end of the video and didn't get frustrated and throw your phones from the information I just shared with you. But I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys next time.